presence of this golden ball with an Eastern red sun symbol on the top of it. Also, beside the, beneath the boot of the presidential figure, we have a coin. I'm not sure of its origin. I've tried to examine it to identify the coin, but I haven't been able to yet. If anybody else can, that would be great. I'm also not sure about the black L and the white C. I'm wondering if that actually represents Lucifer. The black and the white together, LC. If anybody has any input on that, that would be appreciated also. So what we have is a new order coming out of the two hemispheres of duality, and once again unity being established in the form of the lotus flower. And we see the sweating, panicking figure, ruler figure of dualism or of controlled opposition, sweating, and he's worried, and he has every right to be, in the sense that the source of his power, which is the controlled left-right paradigm, is crumbling. And here we see Psalm 23. The beginning of which is, "Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death." The idea here is that the lightning or the power comes through Psalm 23. I'm not entirely clear on which way to interpret that. Either that the journey through the valley of the shadow of death is perpetrated by a force, or that the light, the divine light or providence, shines through the valley of the shadow of death. Since it's lightning, I would, and the lightning divided the hemispheres of the brain, I would assume that it was the former. That this justification for the citing of Psalm 23 is the chaos that is manipulated and perpetrated with some intent. Here we have the U.S. flag broken off of the rest of the flag that is on the mast. The mast is bent or is tilted, and the flag is dilapidated, representing the end of the perhaps the Anglo-American Empire or the United States Empire. We have a clock tower that is reminiscent of Big Ben in London. We obviously have the Twin Towers, smoking, smoldering, and collapsing. And here we have a masked figure. The mask represents an assumed form or an assumed role, like an actor, or in the Greek, the Hippocrates, which is where we get the word hypocrite, or one who assumes a role that is not their true identity. And what we'll see is this figure will commit an act of suicide, which I believe represents the act which we saw behind him, the Twin Towers, etc., being a kind of self-inflicted wound. Okay, and we have a boat here that is in the style of an ancient Egyptian boat, with a dog figure on the front, or Canis Major, and on this boat we will have the mystical Christ figure. Not the Christ figure that most Christians seek or look to, but the mystical Christ figure. And here is Osama bin Laden, and on his jacket he is bearing the seal of the CIA, or the Central Intelligence Agency. Behind him we see the red crescent of Islam. Okay, there's the oil power. Alright, and there's our six-rayed star again beneath the statue of Liberty figure in ice. and we will see the torch of the liberty figure fall, and that coincides with a flash of light in the heavens. And then we have the unborn inhabitants of the current world system being watched and analyzed before they're even born for optimal manipulation. The Christ figure's heart is burning, but it's not fully aflame yet. He seems to be in a trance-like state. The eye on his forehead is at the place of his third eye. There is actually a pyramid on his forehead. The capstone, which is at the top, is absent an eye. The eye is instead at the bottom, which would represent grassroots illumination, as opposed to the prior world system that's depicted as crumbling, which is the elite being illuminated and the grassroots being blind. And here we have the sorcerer. He was able to see the sorcerer through his mind's eye. He was illumined enough to not be tricked by this sorcerer figure. This figure which constantly manipulates the inhabitants of the world system from their birth until their death. Here we see clash of civilizations with a mosque being bombed by stealth fighters. And here we have the heart becoming more inflamed. This is a very interesting series of frames here. This could be interpreted two ways. I believe both really do apply. This appears to be a Muslim woman holding a child that has died in conflict. In her left hand she has a vial, a purple vial, perhaps intended to hold her tears, which is a custom in the East. And as the frames progress, the vial passes directly beneath what appears to be a mushroom cloud. So it appears almost like out of the vial of her tears and suffering comes a mushroom cloud. So that could either be seen as religious extremism as a result of great suffering inflicted upon those people, or it could represent that the warfare is the source of her suffering. Now that's the Muslim representation. This could also actually be seen quite equally to Mary, the mother of Christ, and the child being the Christ child that has perished in her lap. And as you can see, there is the halo or the sun circle behind her, which would be reminiscent of Mary. So in general, this could represent the monotheistic religions of the day, or Christianity and Islam at least. And we have the perished child, a